Remedies for wrongful ejectment, section 169 to section 188. So section 169 is about the issue of notice for payment of arrears and for ejectment in the case if there is a default. So this states that whenever the rent is due from a tenant, it is an is an arrear for 2 years or for a longer period, then the tehsildar can, by suo motu, in case of land held directly from the state government and also on the application of a landlord in other cases, can issue a notice. The proviso for this is that no notice shall be issued under this section for the payment of an arrear which on the date of application therefore has been outstanding for more than 3 years, and a notice issued in this section in that the tenant would be liable for ejectment from the holding in default of his paying his the arrears. Now section 170 is talking about the procedure that is to be followed after the notice is issued. So if the tenant is appearing, or if the tenant is not appearing, so if he is not appearing, or if he is appearing and admitting the arrear claimed, then the tehsildar can pass an order directing him that you have to pay this arrear. Provision for this is that if the order passed as ex parte, then the tenant may apply for such kind of a order to be setting aside, and if he satisfy the tehsildar that either the notice was not served to him or he has sufficient cause for his non appearance, then uh, the order could be set aside. And next is if the tenant appears and contests the claim for arrear, then the notice shall schedule notice on payment of the court fee should be deemed to be suit for arrears of rent. Now proviso for this is that in the event of this notice being issued by a tehsildar suo motu, there will be no court fees. If it is the tehsildar is not being competent for to the suit, then the papers will be forwarded to the revenue court who has the jurisdiction. And if in such case suit the court finds that amount is due from the tenant, then it shall pass directing him to pay such amount into the court. Now section 171 is about the consequences and cancellation of order passed under section 170. Then is section 172, that is dealing with the tenant's claim for compensation on case of appearance. 173 is for the bar to suits on application in certain cases. 174 is about the ejectment in execution of decree for arrears of rent. So in this section, a decree for arrear of rent that is passed in a suit under chapter 10 may be executed in addition to any other mode of execution that is permissible under the law by ejectment of the tenant from his holding. Proviso for this is that no tenant shall be liable for ejectment unless recourse has been had to all other modes of execution and the decree has not been completely satisfied by any such mode within 2 years from the date of such decree. Subsection 2 is this, that the subjection to the proviso to subsection 1, the landholder may apply to the court which passed the decree for the issue of a notice to the tenant for payment of the amount due under the decree and for his ejectment in case of default. Subsection 3, upon receipt of an application under subsection 2, the court shall issue a notice stating the amount that is due under the decree and requiring the tenant within 2 months from the service thereof to pay such amount in court, or in case of default to show cause why he should not be ejected from his holding, and to state whether in case an order for his ejectment is passed he claims compensation on account of any improvements made by him. Now, subsection 4. If the amount is so paid, the court shall record satisfaction on the decree and grant a receipt therefor, which shall operate as an acquittance for the amount deposited, as if such amount had been received by the decree holder, and shall pay such amount to the decree holder. The court may, on application of the tenant, first, from time to time, extend the time for payment of amount due under the decree, provided the extension period should not exceed 3 months. Then the court can also allow payment thereof by such installment as it may fix. Subsection 6. So, if the tenant appears and claims that the decree may be lawfully executed by any other mode to be prescribed by him, the court shall, without requiring another application in that behalf, proceed in accordance with law to execute the decree by such other mode. Subsection 7. If the tenant appears and claims that he is not liable to ejectment on any other ground, then the court shall decide such claim. Now, subsection 8. If the tenant is not appearing in response to the notice that is issued under subsection 2, or if he appears but he does not pay the declaratory amount or does not apply under subsection 5 for extension of time or for permission for payment by installments, or having so applied does not pay the declaratory amount within the extended time or by fixed installments, or if he does not claim non liability to ejectment under subsection 6 or subsection 7, then the mode of execution that is specified by the tenant under subsection 6 has proved infructuous, or his claim under subsection 7 has been rejected, the court shall pass an order that he be ejected from his holding. Proviso for this is that where the court is seized of the proceedings under this section is inferior in grade of an assistant collector, it shall not pass the order for such ejectment, but shall submit the proceeding for the orders of the assistant collector, who shall, after pursuing the same and making such further inquiry and taking such further actions as he may consider necessary and proper in circumstances of the case, either reject the application for ejectment or pass an order for ejectment of the tenant from his holding. Subsection 9. When an order for the ejectment of a tenant from his holding has been passed under subsection 8, he shall, if in attendance, be again asked to state whether he claims compensation on account of any improvement made by him, and if he makes any such claim or has previously made any such claim in response to the notice issued under subsection 2, the court shall proceed to assess the amount of such compensation and the payment thereof be regulated by the provision of section 165. Subsection 10. Ejectment of a tenant in pursuance of an order under subsection 8 shall be subject to the provisions that are contained in section 166 and 168. Subsection 11. If within 1 month after the passing of an order under for ejectment the tenant deposits the declaratory amount in court, then the order for ejectment shall be cancelled unless possession in pursuance thereof has been delivered to the landholder. Now section 175 is talking about the ejectment for illegal transfer of or subletting. Section 176. Decree or order under Section 175. Section 177. Ejectment for detrimental act or breach of condition. So, if a tenant on application of the landholder is liable to ejectment from his holding, then first, on ground of any act or omission of detrimental to the land in that holding or inconsistent with the purpose of which it was let, or on ground that he or any person holding from him has broken a condition, like has there is a breach of condition which he by special contract is which is not contrary to the provisions of this act, is liable to be ejected. So provide provision for this is that planting of trees and making an improvement in accordance with the provision of this act will not constitute a ground for ejectment under this section. Subsection 2, to every application under this section, any person through the tenant may be joined as party, and where the cause of action is based wholly or partially on any act or omission or breach of condition by a transferee or sublease of the tenant, then such transferee or sublease shall be joined as party. Subsection 3, on an application being made under this section, the court shall issue a notice to the opposite party to appear within such time as be specified therein and show cause why he should not be ejected from his holding. Subsection 4, if appearance is made within the time specified in the notice and liability to ejectment is contested, then the court shall, on payment of the proper court fees, treat the application to be plaint and proceed with the case as a suit. Proviso is that in the event of the application having been made by a tehsildar in respect of land held directly from the state government, no court fees shall be payable. Fifth, if no such appearance is made, or if appearance is made but the liability to ejectment is not contested, the court shall pass such order on the application as it may deem proper. 178. Decree or order under section 177. Section 179 is the suit for compensation. Section 180 is the additional provision for ejectment of khudkasht or gair khatidar tenants or subtenants. Section 181 is the application and notice. Section 182 is the procedure subsequent to the issue of notice. Section 182A is the limit of the time for certain applications under Section 180. Section 182B is the restoration of land not brought under personal cultivation. Section 183 is the ejectment of certain trespasser. Section 183A is the summary eviction of mortgagee on non-delivery of possession of land after the expiry of a period of mortgage. Section 183B is the summary ejectment of trespasser of the land held by a member of a scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. Section 183C is punishment for trespass in certain cases. Section 184 is the time of execution. Section 185 is mode of execution of decree or order. Section 186 is omitted. Section 187 is remedies for a wrongful ejectment. So any tenant who is ejected from or prevented from obtained or possession of his holding or any part thereof otherwise then in accordance with the provisions of the law for the time being in force may sue the person so ejectment him or keeping him out of possession for all or any of the following reliefs. First, that he should get the possession of the holding. Second, that he should get the compensation for the wrongful ejectment or wrongful depossession. Third, that he should get a compensation for any improvements that he has made. Proviso for this is that no order, no decree for possession shall be passed where the plaintiff at the time of passing of the decree is liable to ejectment in accordance with the provisions of this act within the current agricultural year. Subsection 2 states that if the decree is for possession, no compensation for any improvement shall be awarded, and such decree shall also be subject to refund within such time as the court may allow by the plaintiff to the defendant of any amount that the latter may have paid as such compensation when he was ejected or dispossessed. Subsection 3, where in a suit for possession under this section or in an appeal for any decree for possession cannot be passed for the reason that is stated in the proviso to subsection 1, then the decree shall be for the costs only. Now, subsection 4, where a decree is passed for compensation for wrongful ejectment or dispossession and not for possession, then the compensation awarded shall be for the whole period during which the ejectment or dispossessed tenant was entitled to remain in possession. Now, subsection 5. A tenant who has sued for possession only shall not be entitled to institute a separate suit for compensation for wrongful ejectment or for improvement in respect of same cause of action. Subsection 6. To a suit for possession under this section, every person who is ejecting the plaintiff or keeping him out of possession, as well as the person, if any, put in possession of the whole or part of the holding after such ejectment by the person who ejected the plaintiff, shall be joined as defendant, and in passing a decree for possession, court shall order that the person in such possession shall be ejected therefrom, provided that the court, instead of ordering ejectment of such person, may, in case he has before the service upon him of summons for the time hearing fixed for the suit, own the holding or part, declare him to be the subtenant of the plaintiff in respect of such holding or part of that harvest only. Subsection 7. A decree for possession that is passed under this section shall be enforced as nearly as may be in the same manner as if it were a decree for ejectment, but regarded shall not be had to the time, if any, prescribed for the enforcement of such decree. Now, section 187A is talking about the availability of the provisions of section 187 to certain aggrieved tenants. Then section 187B is the summary suit for reinstatement based on possession. Then section 188 is the injunction against wrongful ejectment.